Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. My name is Cary Quashen. I am your host, and it's great to be here today. We really do have a great show. Every show is very good because it's so inspiring. The show is about experience, strength, and hope, and we deal with the real issues out there today. We deal with life and death situations. We really do, and anybody that's using drugs today, it's life or death. I used to say to everybody, you know what, get clean or call me when you're ready. It's like now get clean or freaking die. I mean, I'm looking at my Facebook this weekend, and if I just go to it now, I'm going to just read something to you. I mean, it's crazy. And a mom saying to me right here that thanks for trying to help her son, but he's one of the angels now, that he didn't make it, but she wanted to send me a text to thank me. I mean, it's just so crazy. So, anyways, we got some friends of mine in here. We got Ciara here. We got Glenn, and we got Alyssa. Alyssa's very new to being around, but I've seen her before. Glenn's been around for a minute.
Yes, I have.
But he's a knucklehead.
That's correct.
And my friend Ciara has been around for a while, and she's killing it. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with you. Tell everybody your story. I mean, I want to hear the good. No, let's do it differently.
Bad.
How about the ugly, the bad, and the good? Start from the ugly.
Okay. First, it started off when I was really doing bad, and to the point where I got kidnapped, and I was doing a lot of bad things, and
Let me help you a little. How's that?
yeah, please.
So when you were 10, remember?
A
You were
little
walking
bit.
down the street, remember that? And you looked up into the sky and a bong fell into your hands. It said, "Smoke me." No?
No,
Okay, where did it start?
high
And
school.
the reason I'm asking you this is, and you all can just think about what I'm saying, nobody wakes up and decides, I'm going to be a drug addict. It's just not one of those things people decide. In fact, when we're young, we all have what you call contracts. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
When I grow up, I want to be. Remember those? When I grow up, I want to be a sports announcer, like my friend Matt. Or I want to be a drug counselor, like me. Or I want to, whatever. And it changes. And when you ask children today what they want to be when they grow up, it's never drug addict. It's never convict. It's never that. It's always something like I want to be a veterinarian because they want to help animals, or I want to be a cop, or I want to be a therapist, or a model, or a fighter, something like that. Then we have another set of contracts. I want you guys to tell me if you remember those. When I grow up, I'll never. Remember those?
I'll never smoke cigarettes.
That's literally one of the first ones.
Yeah.
But for me, and I'll be quite honest with you, I'll never use drugs because I don't want to be like my dad. But I ended up just about worse, and he died at 47 because of drugs. So we have these contracts, and you're right. Most of the times it's I'm not going to smoke cigarettes because everybody knows, even when they're in kindergarten, they teach you that smoking kills. True?
True.
So there's only two reasons why a child would smoke a cigarette. Do y'all know what they are?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure is number one. Those people over there are doing it, and we want to look. It looks good. It looks exciting and glamorous and cool to hang out with them. So one day we go over there and we're trying to hang out, and somebody says, "Hey, Ciara, you want a cigarette?" And most kids say, "What?" The first time, no, because they know it's a
I'm
contract.
pretty satisfied with what I've got.
My phone is talking to us, but that was weird. But most people say no because they know it can cause cancer. In fact, what does it say on a box of cigarettes? On most packs of cigarettes, here's what it says. This is crazy. It's on most packs. It says the Surgeon General. Let me see if this one says that. No, this one says quitting smoking now greatly reduces serious risks to your health. The other packs that's on most of them these days says this. The Surgeon General, who is that? Top doc.
Top.
So the Surgeon General has determined, what does that mean?
That they've made scientific proofs
it's-
or whatever.
So it says the Surgeon General has determined that smoking causes, it doesn't say might, used to, lung cancer, emphysema, blah, 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 blah. So we know that. So, and now this has always been the gateway drug, is smoking. Now it's either this or vaping, which really isn't much different. It's still tobacco, or nicotine, I should say. It's still, in fact, I saw studies now that are saying it might even be more dangerous than smoking for your heart. So little Ciara goes hang out with people, and somebody says, "Want a cigarette?" And she goes, "No," but she's there every day. And she's getting what you call desensitized. It's not a big deal. Everybody's doing it. And you are who you hang out with, man. You do what people that you hang out with do, or you leave that crowd. That's how that works, right? So one day you go, what the heck, and you take your first hit. What did you do?
Coughed.
You broke a contract that you made when you were probably in kindergarten. So how do you fix that up? It's only a cigarette. It's only a vape. I'll never what? I'll never smoke weed. And you mean it. But you're still hanging out with all these cool people, right? So all of a sudden one day somebody comes over and says, "Want a hit?" And you go, "What is it?" You go, "It's pot." And you go, "Oh no, I'll never use drugs." "What do you mean drugs? This is only marijuana. It's not going to hurt you. It's legal." And now you're convincing yourself that maybe they're right. Maybe a hit won't hurt. And eventually you take your first hit. What did you do? Broke another contract, right? But you did something else, didn't you? You just kind of became part of something, part of that clan. And you smoked something that probably made you feel good. So how do you tell someone that's 12 or 14 that something that made them feel good is bad? You following me? So how do you clean it up? It's only pot. I'll never use hard drugs. And you freaking mean it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
But you go to a party.
You go to a party.
Everybody's
line up the cocaine.
Everybody's smoking. You're smoking a little bit of weed. You're drinking a little bit of tequila. Somebody says, "You want to try this? What is it, cocaine?" "Oh no." You smoke a little bit more weed. You drink a little more tequila, and you go, "What the heck?" And you take your first hit of cocaine, like you said, or meth, or some kind of opiate, or whatever it is. And what did you just do?
Broke another contract.
Forget contracts are done. That's not. You did something a whole lot worse than broke a contract. You just used something that made you feel great. And if somebody tells you drugs make you feel bad, they're lying. The first time when you use something that you like, you fall in love with that drug. Now, how do you tell somebody that something that made them feel great is bad? And cocaine and meth and those drugs has what you call a shortcut to the pleasure zone of your brain. So as soon as you hit it, boom, you feel great. And that's why it takes only one time for like methamphetamines or opiates or cocaine for your brain to get addicted to it. And that's what you're chasing forever. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, we said that there's two reasons for why a kid would start smoking a cigarette. One is that. The other is it's a learned behavior from home. So parents out there that do what I say, not what I do, that's a bunch of crap. If you want your kids not to do something, then freaking don't do it. Be a role model for your kid. Be the person you want your kids to grow up to be, period.
Yes, sir.
So, so anyway, so go ahead from there. So in high school, what happened? How did it start? What's the deal?
I was hanging out with the wrong people. Was trying to look cool. And
those cool people looked fun, didn't they?
Yeah, until you started developing, wanting to leave school, ditch school all the time, or just rather go hang out at the mall, get high and go to the mall, or go do something. And
it's the first time you got high. Do you remember the situation? Can you remember it? Hard, isn't it?
Very hard. It was very hard.
What was the deal the first time? Were you with your friends?
I was with some people I really didn't know. And I was just hanging out with them, I guess.
Let's hear it. So you were with these people you didn't know, and they said, "Hey."
I guess they were just part of, like, boyfriend I was with at the time. And they're like, "Hey, you want to try this?" Or, "Hey, you want to do this?" I said no. Sat there for 3 hours later, probably, and then finally gave in.
You sitting there watching it, and you're there. And
I was just sitting there bored. And
so you got high. And what happened?
And that from that moment, it changed my life because, like, that's all I wanted to do. Didn't care about this, didn't care about that, and didn't even care how it hurt people that I loved. Just, I had to make sure I had it. And
What's it?
methamphetamines.
How'd you get from weed to meth? That didn't just happen overnight.
It,
Or did
did
it?
them both in the same day.
Oh, it did. Okay.
So it was, I tried both of them that same day. Didn't like the way weed felt. And they're like, oh, well, try this. It'll make you feel better. It'll take the weed feeling away.
And you fell in love.
Yeah. And ever since then.
That's what people don't understand. It only takes one time to get addicted emotionally, especially to a drug like methamphetamine. Tell us about that.
It does, because it's like your best friend. You think that it's always going to be there for you, but towards it, like when you're using it for so long, you end up wanting to need it to get up every day. Need it to make you feel good to actually start your day. And up until a year ago, I was doing it, and then now you're clean.
It got pretty bad out there for you.
Oh, yeah.
No, it really did, because we were watching videos of this documentary that I filmed, and you knew the people in the video.
Yeah.
You knew the people who died in the video.
Yeah.
You knew the street where they were hanging out. You knew everything about it.
Yeah.
So you lost a lot of friends, didn't you?
Yes. But now
That's pretty sad, though.
it's hard to talk about it.
I could see that.
I try to brush that part off. It makes me feel a little bit better that I'm actually doing good for myself, and wish they were here, but too sad that they're gone. But
How many friends did you lose?
I can probably over 20.
That's what people don't seem to understand, that it's not recreational usage anymore. There's no such thing as recreational usage or experimenting. If you're using drugs today, and the message I want to give to everybody is fentanyl's in everything. We got people coming into rehabs that's been using crystal meth, and we're detoxing them off fentanyl because it's in the crystal meth. I know kids that overdose on ecstasy, and it wasn't ecstasy, it was fentanyl in the ecstasy. So it's in freaking everything. So the message we need to be giving children today is all drugs are bad. All drugs are deadly, because all drugs are deadly right now. And there's no such thing as real pills on the market today. They're all fake. They're all pressed pills. They're almost all fentanyl. 6 out of every 10 pills on the streets today have a potential of a lethal dosage. 6 out of 10. That's a new statistic. That's a reality. That's a fact. So every time you're using, it's worse than Russian roulette. So
Over half.
go on. So it got bad.
Yeah.
A year ago, you showed up at.
Action.
And?
I had 2 months before I came in, but that 2 months was very hard. I was pretty much sleeping the whole time.
Yeah, you locked yourself in a bedroom.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, like, I needed something to do during the day, and might as well work on myself than sit and watch Netflix all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And then I completed the program, and then
You were at Action for how long?
almost 4 months.
You showed up every morning at 9 o'clock, and you stayed 2 every day.
Sometimes 2:30.
Every day.
Yeah.
And you didn't miss any.
In between, only a couple days
Just a couple.
because of the baby.
Yeah.
Well, not baby, 6 years old, but
So you were really ready, weren't you?
yeah.
You wanted to be clean. Why?
For myself mainly, but for my grandma, and
You love your grandma, don't you?
I love my grandma. She's my best friend.
She's probably going to see this, so
I know.
you don't have to just say grandma and say what you want to say to her.
I love you, Grandma. Thank you. For my mom, because I was worrying my mom all the time, and for my son, because
How old is your son now?
6.
Very
Just
cool.
lost his front
So
tooth.
you are now a present mom.
Yes. It's stressful. It's still hard.
Being a parent's not easy.
No.
You're right.
Not at all.
It is stressful and it is hard. And you were running for quite a few years.
5.
5 years. You were just like gone.
Pretty much.
And now you're back.
Yes, and I'm not going anywhere.
Isn't that cool? Hey, I'm real proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
You came to Action. It had to take a year cake.
Yes.
You got a year clean and sober.
I know.
Hey, that's a freaking miracle.
Yes.
How does that feel?
Stressful.
Why is it stressful?
Because I'm nervous. Just nervous. I was even nervous to give my speech this morning.
Yeah. Oh, you're nervous of being here, is what
No,
you're saying. You're nervous.
I was nervous in class too.
Yeah. Well, you
I
know
didn't know
what?
them.
Talking's hard, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Well, you're doing a great job. Isn't she doing a great job?
Thank
really
you.
a great job.
Good job.
Everybody's real proud of you. So 1 year.
Yes.
Wow. Well, you're the reason we do what we do. We love the successes, and actually we have quite a few. Lately, I've been doing a lot about the fentanyl and people we're losing, but I want everyone to know we have lots of successes, and you're one of them. So thanks. Give me a hug. I'm really proud of you.
Awesome.
Tell us your story, Glenn.
Name's Glenn, 45 years old. Quick background on me. I grew up in South Central. My mom was really hard on me as a kid, making sure I didn't get involved with gangs. I was an LAPD explorer for Wilshire Division, and I wanted to be a police officer. My mom ended up moving to the Valley, and I ended up finding my kind of people there, skaters, not gang related, and I started trying drugs at about 15 years old.
You were walking down the street and you looked up in the sky and a bong fell in your hands that smoked me?
No,
What
I met a group of skaters. And we were skating, and we were trying tricks, and they pulled out the joint and said, "Hey, you'll get better if you fall. You won't feel anything."
Right.
And started doing weed and doing jumps off my skateboard. And from there, I wanted to skate all the time, and I had a buddy. I always had this complex where I felt like I needed to fit in. I didn't feel myself. I felt like I had to prove myself. So
You know what? If you think about it this way, when we're growing up, everyone's trying to figure out where they belong and where they fit. It's like here's a good example: junior high school. Somebody has to go to the bathroom. They're walking down the hallway. They're going to the bathroom. The bell rings. Everybody comes out. Their walk now is a stroll. So we're trying to fit in wherever we go. It's so hard when we're young, but for people that have like an addictive personalities or low self-esteem or don't really know where they fit, that drug culture is easy.
yes,
Smoke a
it
little
is.
weed, jump on a skateboard, and you're part of everything.
Yes. And then, for the parents out there, I would tell them keep track of your kids, because my mom worked so much that when I was in junior high and high school, I was pretty much left on my own, and she wasn't checking up on me, and the drug use just got worse. And I would just be in my room at night because I wouldn't even come home, and she just worked too much. She was too tired to ask questions, and it progressed into my 20s, and I kept going.
How was school?
I dropped out in the 10th grade.
Okay.
10th grade, and I just dedicated.
So the being a cop thing didn't work out.
It didn't work out at all. And my first job was at a Hollywood Tattoo. I would build skateboards, and so anything you needed for the graffiti artist, I could supply. And they gave me a job there, and it was the greatest thing ever. I was making $20 a day, and I thought I was living life. And my method, it was crank back in the day.
Yeah.
I've been doing drugs for 30 years now. And I kept doing drugs. Met a really good woman. She tried to help me change my life. I have 2 kids with her.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 13 and 9. But
Tell me about your kids.
uh,
You got teary eyed.
yeah,
What's going
my
on?
kids are great because of their mom, not because of me. Their mom has gone through hell and back, and my kids have done really great. I mean, they're doing great at school. She got them out of the area. I mean, it doesn't matter what area you're at. There's always going to be drugs, but she moved them to the Central Coast, and they're doing very well. She is a social worker and is really on top of the kids and what they're doing, and the kids are respectful. They're everything, but I give her 100% of the credit. Like, I have been an absent father, and
You love your kids a lot. I know you do.
I love my kids a lot. And,
So is that what you've been running from?
so I made another mistake, and after she left me, I got with another woman and immediately started having kids with her, but she also was an addict. And you mix two addicts together, and it's just pure chaos. And we ended up having a DCFS case that we're still battling with.
Okay.
And I have lost custody of my 6 year old and my 5 year old. Luckily, my mom has custody of them, but my parental rights have been terminated. I have a 4 year old daughter that I'm still trying to fight for. In mind, these three kids are from the same woman who's an addict, also who's relapsed multiple times.
So your mom has the kids.
My mom has all three kids right now.
So your mom's a saint.
Oh, my mom's 72 years old, and I owe her the world because I don't know how she's doing it with taking care of my kids right now.
You know she's going to hear this. She's going to watch this show.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to her?
I love you, Mom. I love you, Albert. Albert's my stepdad. They have done everything for the kids and put their needs first. And they have even kept me out of the kids' lives because I wasn't well. And I know how much it hurts my mom to keep me out of her life and the kids' lives, but I wasn't healthy. I've done drugs or meth for so long. In March, I gave myself a heart attack. And the meth was laced with fentanyl. And I realized I was having a heart attack. I was going to work, complaining that I couldn't breathe. The guys were like, oh, you're probably just hungover or, you did something bad. And I stood like that for 3 days. By the third day, I was passing out. And they took me to the hospital. And I was having a heart attack. Now I have a congestive heart failure. But the thing about this disease is it doesn't matter. It didn't matter to me that I had a heart attack. I still continued to use. 2 weeks out of the hospital, I had a needle in my arm again.
Yeah.
And just
How come you're alive?
I decided to get into recovery. And even
Someone's watching over you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because you should be dead.
I should be dead.
You walked around with a heart attack for 3 days, and you're still alive. We're going to talk more about that when we come back from break. This is your Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen. I'm your host. Along with my guest, when we first started, we went to my friend Ciara. She's got a year clean and sober, and we could not be more proud of her. And in fact, somebody was texting me in the middle of this, on the show site. And a guy named Adam said, congratulations on the year. So congratulations on your year. And before we went on break, we were talking to Glenn. And Glenn was telling us his story, which is I'll say it to him right now, you are super lucky you're alive today. He talked about your children and how grateful you are for your mom. Your mom's actually raising 2 or 3 of your children.
Three children, yes.
And you actually had a heart attack recently.
Yeah, I had it back in March.
So talk about that again. Fill us in on that, and then we'll go from there.
So I had a heart attack, and I was living in Torrance, and had a heart attack.
Long way from being a cop.
Yes, long way from being. Now I build power lines now, but long way from being what I wanted to be. And I got so used to living on my own and just disappearing. I disappeared from all the kids, from my parents, from the mother of my 2 older children. I would just disappear. As long as I was sending child support, I thought I was doing the right thing. And I would send, money for gifts or whatever the kids need. But I was not present for the kids. I haven't been present for the kids. Gave myself a heart attack. And I spent a week in the hospital. I'm on a bunch of medication. And about 2 weeks after leaving the hospital, I said, you know what? I probably could still get high. I just can't, and I can't shoot up dope.
And you just left the hospital with a heart attack. So now I am smoking meth still. And I decided to go into a treatment center, an outpatient, because I was lying to myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for the DCFS, show them that I'm doing this. And I had all this whole big plan in my head on how to cheat the drug test. And I was just living a lie. Everybody knew at that outpatient that I was high, but I was passing the urine analysis. I'm not going to say how, but I was passing them. And it was just one big lie. And it ended up blowing up in my face again. How?
Uh, they found out I was using, and they were terminating the rights to my children, and I gave up. I kept using for months and months, and I decided, you know what, I need to leave Torrance, and I called you,
You did.
and I spoke to you, and I said, well, I'm not ready to come in today. Can you give me till Friday? And you're like, you know what, you need to come in right now. I said, well, I got to get my stuff out of this room that I'm renting, put it in storage, and then I'll be in Friday. And then you kept checking up on me, and Friday came around, and like any addict, I still had meth on me, and I just said, you know what, let me just use all of this because I can't let it go to waste. That's the addict mentality. And I used it, went into action, and like I was out of my mind when I got in there, followed the program, did what I had to do, got a sponsor, was going to the meetings, finished the treatment center program, and then went to the outpatient. In one of those incidents, I had an incident with the mother of my children. I didn't take into account all the wreckage and the damage and the pain that I've caused her throughout the years. I figured, hey, I've been clean 40 days. You should be applauding me and patting me on the back and telling me what a good job I'm doing.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm realizing that it doesn't work like that because there's a lot of mistrust that she has, a lot of probably resentment,
Pain.
anger, pain, a broken heart of what I've done to her, and not only to her but to the children.
Yeah.
And she let it out, called me some names, and I took offense to it. And then instead of calling my sponsor or doing something about it, I picked up again.
You showed her.
Yeah, I was like, I'll show you if that's what you're calling me. And then I picked up, and it wasn't her fault. It was my fault completely. I'm the one that picked up, and I should understand. And I have no right to tell her when to get over the pain. She's going to deal with the pain that I've caused, however she deals with it. And if I have to, like listen to her for the next 2, 3, 10 years of what I've caused, then I'll deal and I'll make my amends one day. But at some point too, if maybe it's best we're just friends.
She'll forgive you when she forgives you, if she forgives you.
If she forgives
you
me.
make an amends is because you're sorry,
Yes,
and it's because you feel bad.
correct.
It's not so much for her.
Yes.
It's for you. And if she decides to accept it one day, she will.
Yes, and then I ended up relapsing again, and this last relapse,
Go ahead.
was just a pity party of I didn't hang out with nobody. I was just by myself in the Motel 6, just getting high, and I wanted to end my life. I wanted to end.
You wanted to die.
I wanted to die, and Brian, a couple counselors reached out to me and said, "Come back, come back, come back." Brian even said, "Hey." Uh, Brian's a counselor. He said, "Come back. You're welcome for Thanksgiving at my house." And I just said no. And then finally, I said, my daughter was FaceTiming me, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to end it for myself and put her through just thinking about the damage I can do to her and my kids. Not just her, but all the boys.
So I guess in general, you really do have a good heart, Glenn.
Yes.
You're a sensitive, loving guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't want to cause them any more drama or cause pain or who knows, like, if I take myself out, how they can grow up.
You know what your kids need?
A father,
A father.
present father,
A
father
A
that's
sober father.
yes, that's gonna put them first.
How many days you got clean?
Right now, I got 12 days.
Give me a favor, pat him on the back for me. No, seriously.
Thanks.
Sometimes you gotta just get it from who you can.
Yeah.
And we are proud of you, dude.
Thanks. Thank you.
I am proud of you.
Yeah. So just
But I also know this: if you don't stay clean, you will take yourself out, either on purpose or by accident.
yes, and I don't
This
want
is
to.
this is a life and death situation. There's 2 doors here. It's just not let's make a deal with 3. Door number 1 is more of this misery and hell, if you're lucky. Door number 1 is you live.
And then one thing that I'm learning is, so with men, I'm not, well, just my case, the ego and the pride gets in the way of asking other men for help.
Yeah.
And I got to learn how to just ask other men, can you help me? Can you help me get phone numbers, keep in contact, help me through my steps?
You know what? It doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. Real men reach out.
Right.
Real
Right.
men give people hugs. Real men cry. Real men ask for what they need when they need it. Any chump can go out there, use drugs, act tough, and be a jerk.
Right.
This is what a man is.
Right.
What
And
you're
then-
doing now is what a man is. You are now a man.
Yeah. And then I'm learning.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
You are now a man.
you just,
Welcome to manhood.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's just learning a new way of life. It's
Yeah.
helping me out.
Very good. Give him a hug for me. I'll hug you afterwards. Alyssa, you're on. You're getting all teary-eyed. What's going on over there?
A lot.
No, what really? What's going on?
New to action again.
Yeah,
Ran away once. Wasn't ready.
yeah. You were there for a couple days.
I was there for one day.
Yeah, so I won't even count that. But go on.
Yeah. I've been here for a few days now since
You
Thursday
almost
night.
left yesterday.
I wanted to, but I knew I wasn't going to.
Wanting to will never hurt you. It's doing what hurts.
Yeah.
So good. I'm very
Exactly.
proud of you for staying. But go on.
Where do you want me to start?
Just worry why you look very emotional right now. Just
a lot.
What's going on with you right now?
Just been a lot of family stuff, a lot of hurt people, messed up a lot of stuff for myself. It's been a crazy few years, and you don't know that time passes that fast.
Yeah.
And in school, I always did good in school, did good at softball, was gonna go out of state, had some surgeries, stayed home, and ended up partying.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
You've been through a lot, haven't you?
I have.
I know last
Yeah.
week was real hard, wasn't it?
It
What
was.
happened last week?
Last week, so my brother and his girlfriend, they were living with me at my dad's, and his girlfriend had OD'd.
What does that mean?
She overdosed. She
I-
overdosed on fentanyl.
Explain what that looked like when you were there.
She started shallow breathing until she was knocked out cold. And we're trying to slap her awake, splash her with water, throw her in the shower. 15 minutes pass, and I'm like, I need to go get my dad. Like, he's the only one that has Narcan in the house. We used ours. And so I go get my dad. I'm giving her CPR.
You used yours already.
I don't know where it was.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it probably got used on me a few weeks before that.
Okay.
But yeah, crazy.
What
But
a freaking life.
yeah, so I get dad up. I go Narcan her. I'm giving her CPR. It's been like 15, 20 minutes. She wakes up out of nowhere. Then my brother's passing out.
So he's now overdosing.
Yeah, no, he's overdosing by the time paramedics are there. They take both of them in. Dad wants all of us to go get clean. Girlfriend got sent home. And it was just really chaotic.
Well, y'all almost died.
Yeah.
With people, I want
3 years of using, and I've never been that close until like maybe a month ago.
you overdosed a month ago. What happened?
I was using with my boyfriend at the time.
Go on.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
And we didn't have any of the Prez pills that we were used to. And somewhere we got some fentanyl.
And you knew you was fentanyl.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I tried it 1 or 2 times before that, but not how he had dosed it. And that's where my Narcan went.
Did you smoke it? Or did you shoot
I
it?
snorted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went out.
Yeah.
They Narcaned you back to life.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It was a lot sooner than my brother's girlfriend was, but yeah,
You lost
it was the closest I've been.
Have you know anyone who's died already?
My mom died of long-term drug use in 2016. My uncle had diabetes. He died in 2018. My grandpa died in 19. Grandma got re-diagnosed with cancer in 2020. My best friend died of the pills January 2021. And then a week later, my grandma passed.
Jeez.
And I called her my mom. She raised.
So you're dealing with a ton of trauma, but the drugs don't fix it.
They don't.
No,
They
makes
just
it,
numb it.
well,
They don't fix anything.
it don't even. It's not even numbing after a while. It makes it worse because all the drugs that you're using.
After my best friend had passed from the same thing, that night I didn't want to use. My boyfriend would break up, and I'm like, no, it's okay. And then a day later, I'm back to doing the same thing.
Yeah, you know you got to stop, but you just can't. And it doesn't.
I didn't want to stop.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Do you want to live?
I do.
Do you know that if you use, you will die?
I do know.
You will definitely die. And if it wasn't for
It's only a matter of time.
if it wasn't for Narcan, you'd already be dead. And your sister, and your brother,
Yeah.
and his girlfriend, and most of your friends. My guess is you wouldn't be around. So this is for you, life or death, man. The hardest.
And I'm happy to be here for that reason.
We're
Thank
happy,
you.
We're happy you're here. I was worried about you coming. You know that.
Yeah.
And you
I'm happy that I stayed.
And you got a dad that loves you. He was texting me all day yesterday.
Hi,
Is she
Dad.
there? Is she there? Is she there? Did she leave? Did she leave? Is she there? She's going to die. It's complete panic.
Yeah.
So your dad's going to see this show, right?
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, well, you'll send it to him. So what do you want to say to him?
If I don't, you will, right?
What do you want to say to your dad?
I love you, and thank you for pushing me so hard. Definitely didn't like it the first few days, but I know that it has to be done.
If
And I'd
not,
rather do it sooner than later.
you know what? In instances like this, there is no later.
Exactly.
It's you do it or you die.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been flirting with death, both of you,
Mm-hmm.
for long enough that if you play with matches, you get burned. If you flirt with death, you get burned. But if it's that one time, if you're dead, man. You can't come back from death. So it's you have to get clean, guys. And it's not just you; it's everyone listening. If you're out there and you're using these drugs, you tell them. If you're using these drugs, what's going to happen?
Your life's going to spiral until you die.
And you've been here how many days?
Since Thursday.
So
4 days, 5 days.
4 days. So you're telling the truth, aren't you?
It was only a week ago.
All hell broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
You almost lost your
And
brother.
that's just one hell.
I know. Yeah, you got plenty to tell, don't you? Do you want to live?
Hmm?
Do you want to live?
Oh, of course.
Why?
To see a better tomorrow.
Okay. Do y'all think that you can do this without drugs? This thing called life? Is it worth it?
It's
You got a
beyond
year.
worth it.
Is it worth it?
It is. I couldn't imagine what life was before a year ago.
Crazy, huh?
I don't even remember how to use drugs. That's the good part about it.
I remember telling you when I first met you on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you? 10 meaning you love yourself and you felt like you're on top of the world, and the bottom of the scale you felt like like dirt.
That's how I felt. I feel like I'm on top of the world right now.
And I told you, if you stay clean in a year,
You give us two choices. You can either have your misery back or you can take the year, and I'm taking the year. I'm not having my misery back.
misery's, you know what? I got this Christmas Eve 42 years clean and sober. And the guy that kind of helped me was my mother's boyfriend. He had 10 years sober, and then he ended up dying from a heart attack. But he said this, and I'll say it to you. Your misery is always there. You can always go get it. It's down the street, around the corner. You can find it whenever you want. The drugs will always be there. But this thing called recovery might not. So if you have a shot, take it, man. Run with it. And if, how do I say this? You were willing to die to get high. You were willing to risk your life to get high. What?
I didn't care.
You got to now be willing to die for sobriety. Yep. You got to want it so freaking bad that if it's life or death, I'll die for my sobriety, because you would have for your drugs. In other words, there could be no reason to get loaded again. And the hardest part about getting sober is that little thing in your head that goes, should I or should I not? Do I really have to stop everything?
Yep.
Can I never use again? Why can't I smoke weed? It's not fentanyl. Why can't I drink alcohol? My thing was drugs. If you figure out if you don't drink or use anything, your life just gets better. If you don't, remember those contracts we talked about? You start breaking them again. It's only alcohol. I didn't have a problem with it. It's only weed. I don't even like weed. Why can't I smoke it? And then you always find that drug that you love again, and you're screwed.
You're absolutely right. Because
I get lucky sometimes.
I picked up after the argument, I picked up a tall can, and alcohol. I thought alcohol was never my problem, and I picked up a tall can, and I went back to 7-Eleven, bought 2 more, and then I was like, you know what goes great with this?
Yeah.
And I said, and because it loosened me up, and I said, let's go hunting for it, and that's where it started.
If you don't drink and you don't use, your life gets better. It's door number 1 is that. Good life. Not every day, but pretty good. Door number 2, the misery you already have plus, if you're lucky. So I want to thank you guys. Are we coming back? Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. I want us to kind of pull ourselves together. Anyways, this is emotional and hard for people. I understand, man. Dealing with feelings are hard, and I did too back then. Been numbing our feelings forever, and all of a sudden, bang! Your drugs are gone, and now you got to feel. Getting sober is not learning how not to use drugs, guys. It's learning how to deal with your feelings, because your feelings gives you the obsession to go get loaded, because you don't know how to deal with them. So what you're doing now is you're getting sober and you're learning how to deal with stuff. And I promise you it gets easier. I promise you. You have to go through the pain first, though. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen. Man, you guys are the reason why I do what I'm doing, and you're the reason why I keep doing it, because you were just as broken as they are.
Yes.
You had a child, you were running, your family was raising the kid, you were using serious drugs, you could have lost your life, and now you got a year clean. I mean, it doesn't get cooler than that. Mm-hmm. This is why.
Big inspiration.
This is why.
Love her.
When I was getting...
I love her too. We just met today. She's my best friend.
When I was getting clean and somebody came in and said, I got 42 years, I went, yeah, right. Probably smokes weed in the bathroom. I mean, you can't figure it out. Yeah. But when somebody said I had 7 days or 2 weeks or 1 year, I went, what the heck? How'd you do that? Because that got my attention.
Yeah.
But what I want you to know is you absolutely can do this. You just got to want it so bad that you're not going to allow anything to get in your way, period, end of subject. And you got to be willing to die to get sober.
Correct.
Or change it. Die to stay sober.
Yes.
And I promise you a better life. I promise you that. It's a fact. Here, catch. It's yours. All you got to do is take it, man.
Take it and change everything about
change
all your behaviors.
Yes, I usually getting clean and sober is easy. You just got to change everything.
Yeah.
Where you play, who you play with, how you play,
even your phone number.
If that's and I usually cuss when I say this, so I'm going to do this without cussing. Instead, I'm going to use a different word. The heck with alcohol and drugs. And everything
doesn't sound the same.
You know what I'm trying to say. And everything it does to you and everyone around you. You guys are terrific. You really are. I am definitely going to bring you all back. I think Jerry wanted you back, in a month or so. We'll have you back. But I want to follow you guys. I want people to see you can make it. Anything you want to say before we close to your listeners, guys?
I do want to say, parents, please talk to your children, talk to your teenagers, because it's important for you to check up on them. My mom didn't check up on me, and please just talk to your kids.
Okay. Anything you want to say?
Not at the moment.
To anyone? Well, I want you to know I love you and I'm proud of all of you. Anything you want to say?
Just thank you for listening.
I love you too, Cary.
Love you too, Cary.
This is the Action Drug Rehab Hour. I'm Cary Quashen. We will be back next week. Hey, this show needs to be heard. This is how we save lives, so make sure you share it. And people that need to hear it. Thank you. Bye.